Greetings, Earthling! So, still in lockdown, everybody, but excuse me, did you just say A-team? Yeah, I did, actually. I love it. When we hear A-team, we usually think of a big black car, at least one really strong guy, and overall a really clever and smart group that keeps making plans that keep on working. One thinks less of a brewery and would dismiss such a notion probably as an idea made up by Howling Matt Murdock. But the Altenburg brewery, whose black dark beer we're going to drink today, launched its first fan club for the beer birthday on the 23rd of April 2020. And guess what it's called? The A-Team. No kidding. For an annual membership fee of €18.71, 1871 is an important number. I'm going to come to that. One becomes part, I quote, of the Altenburg Special Forces for Pleasure, tasting issues. You will get a starter package with a personal membership card, naturally, a 6-piece tasting set from the current beer portfolio, a Craft Master Professional tasting glass in 0.33 liters, an A-Team t-shirt, you always wanted that, be honest, and 2 Altenburger beer mats. 2. There will always be, and there will also be an annual birthday surprise, as well as discounts for tastings and guided tours of the brewery, and, of course, an A-Team newsletter with exclusive invitations to events, information on promotions, and competitions. As you can see, my hand is already shaking. But in all fairness, let's take a closer look. For Germans, Altenburg is actually more or less a household name, although most of them can't really put it somewhere. We're talking about Altenburg, a small town in Thuringia with about 30,000 inhabitants. For Germans, it's a special place because in this city, one of the favorite German card games, Skat, was invented. In 1886, the first German Skat Congress took place there with more than 1,000 participants. And in 1899, the German Skat Association was founded there. You know, what would a German be without a club or an association? Nothing. So, and in the evening whilst playing Skat, some of the guys wanted to have a beer too. Who can blame them? So in 1871, we talked about that, 7 Altenburg citizens had the idea of an Aktienbrauerei, a stock-based brewery. I've talked about stock breweries a couple of times. So how did it come that those came around all the same time? Since stocks are known since the Middle Ages. The first law on stock companies came in 1843 into force in Prussia. The stock exchanges in Germany experienced rapid development during the early days of the industrial boom. Industrialization needed money. And since you always have only few people with a lot of money, but more people with a little bit of money, you can ask those to buy some stocks and finance whatever you want to do. So, and imagine Germans had the idea of making a brewery with that money. So, between 1871 and 1873, in only 2 years, 928 stock companies were established in Germany. However, the first Black Friday was not too long coming around. So in May 1873, the market crashed. All the stocks were only half the price suddenly. And of 107 stock banks. Only 34 remained, survived this year. As a result, a couple of years later, the Stock Corporation Act was renewed to keep small savers away from stocks. So they wouldn't, if you heard about Enron, you get the drift, I guess. In Germany, as I said, stocks were used to raise money for breweries. Who would have guessed? After the Second World War, the brewery was in the newly founded GDR, and it became a VEB, a Volkseigener Betrieb, a people-owned business. And there was the Kombinate, which were larger unions, and this brewery became part of the Leipzig Brew Beverage Combine. After reunification, the brewery had a hard time. I talked about the 90s, how the markets were rough, like everybody was selling cheap beer because you couldn't make money anymore with beer. And this was even more true for East German breweries because the market was flooded with West German beer. And they had a lot of money and could do a lot of marketing too. So the East German brewers, which basically didn't have the money, had a hard time surviving. This one did, obviously. But how? The Leikheim brewery from Alten Kunststadt in Upper Franconia, that's in the west of Germany, bought the brewery and, kept it running, and obviously in their own design. So the focus was on the traditional core, since you see the nice bottle, and above all the local ties, especially in marketing. So they marketed in the area, obviously with some success, or to paraphrase Hannibal Smith, I love it when a plan comes together. But as we know, when it comes down to beer, advertising alone doesn't do it. So on the other hand, something has to go right with this brewery, because in 2020, excuse my French, 2020, at the Meiningers International Craft Beer Award, the premium pils from this brewery won the prize for the pils of the year. Okay, something's going right. But everybody wants to stick with the winner, so we're going to go the different way and take the dark one. And it's nice, cold outside, and dark beers are perfect for those times. We can drink the pils in the summer. So, if you have a look at the ingredients, you will see that this beer is brewed with roasted malt beer. Beer that's made with beer. I love the idea. Let's see. Okay, the foam. Oh, well, it's pretty nice foam, actually. And it's one would expect with a dark beer, you usually have a lot of malt, and you usually expect, like heavy smell, often sweet. Definitely not the case with this one. It's only a faint malty odor, not heavy, and the color is it's a dark brown with a slide of red. In German, I would say Kastanie. Don't ask me what it is in English. Let's see how it tastes. Okay, it's definitely not sweet. If you want something sweet, you came to the wrong house. It's a roasted malt taste, and it has a strong note of black bread. The German Schwarzbrot, the dark German bread, the black bread. It has a slight taste of that, and somewhere in the back, at the end, when it all goes down, it's some slight coffee note back there. As I said, if you're looking for something sweet, you're at the wrong house. And so all in all, definitely thumbs up. And I would have expected it to be a little bit stronger. I mean, it's 5%. So usually we say you should drink the beer in Celsius at about the same number as it has in percent. So if it's 5 degrees, you can drink this one probably a little warmer, so it would get a little tastier. But all in all, I'm a little disappointed that it's not as tasty as I expected it to be. But it's an okay beer, so it's a 3.5. And I'm going to drink that. You have a nice day. Bye-bye.